Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is James. I am a Quimbadero, an Aborisha, and a Tatainquisi and Palo. If you're new to my channel, I welcome you. I make many videos concerning spiritual topics, as my goal is to bring more information in English to the practice of Quimbanda, to the worship of Eshu, and to the worship of Pombagira here in the United States. I have a deep and passionate love for Orisha. The Lukumi tradition was actually the first African traditional religion that I was initiated into, Quimbanda being the second, Palo being the third. So those are the three spiritual practices that I operate within. If you were wondering why my hair looks like I have just been transformed into Medusa, it is because I did yoga for the first time in years, and we did it outside, and it was incredibly hot, so I had my hair pulled back. Now my hair is down, and it is just, full-on lion's mane. Excellent. It is also hotter than a jalapeño's coochie in Florida today. So I have been walking around almost naked, as you can see. Alright, so the video, or rather, the idea, what I'm going to be talking about today, this is going to be a Quimbanda Talks video, and it's going to be how I felt and how my spirits felt after I fed them. So I received Eshu and Pombagira, my trunk, my two main spirits, Eshu being my primary spirit and Pombagira being his consort, in November of 2017. So it was a year and 4 months since my spirits had been fed the initial time by Asiel, so when I received them. So beyond that, they have not had any type of other sacrificial offerings, any other anything like that. No other type of blood, right? I've only done pade with them, I've done work with them, but it had never been marked to feed them. It just hadn't come up. And because it hadn't come up, I honestly, and because I hadn't asked, because, there really wasn't a specific reason as to why I was feeding my spirits, except to fortify them, to sustain them, and to add ferocity to their already inferno of power there. So, leading up to me actually feeding them, I had taken not a break by any stretch of the imagination, because I come into the terreiro for many points throughout, my day, throughout whatever point, just to say hello to my spirits, just to salute the nganga, to talk to them, to pray. So I definitely was still doing that, but it had been definitely a few weeks since I had really come in and had a full whole moment with them, with my spirits, and really did something. I was initiated into Palo about 6 months after my initiation into Quimbanda. So I am just constantly learning many different things. I'm learning how to traverse the plains of Quimbanda, how to work and incorporate Eshu Sete Pedras and Pombagira Reina da Calunga, which are my two spirits, as well as learning my Palo stuff, learning my Lukumi stuff, so I'm constantly learning, constantly doing. So it had definitely been a few weeks since I had really come in and spent a significant amount of time in the terreiro. So but generally speaking, it does not take much for me to get myself worked up and to get my spirits worked up, even though it had been, a little bit of a break, that I had really like done something major for them. In fact, the last time that my spirits were consulted for somebody else was, it's been like a few months ago now. And that was for a potential godchild of mine that wanted to be scratched into Quimbanda. Unfortunately, at that particular moment, I just did not think that it was the most appropriate time for that person to be receiving the spirits. They have a lot of things that were going on in their life, a lot of things that were distracting them from their spiritual practice, and I really, it was a hard decision to make, but I made it. And so I just talked to this person and I told them that now wasn't the most appropriate time, and that, as for the moment, I was withdrawing my offer to initiate them. So, with all of that being said, that was kind of like the preface to me feeding my spirits. So, I went and I bought the animals from the farm here in Jacksonville, and we were all set for the spirits to be fed that night. So, so we had the animals. I wanted, as you can see in the Feeding the Spirits of Quimbanda video, we had moved the entire terrero around, and I actually set up new altars for my spirits on the bench that they're sitting on now, and so they look very, very nice where they're at, and I love where they're at, and I love having moved them. So moving the ngangas in and of itself can be a type of offering. It can be a type of way that you can work your ngangas, is by moving the seat of their power throughout, just shifting them. You're shifting their energy, you're touching them, you're giving them light, you're giving them ache, and you're just like moving them around. So that in itself, I feel like definitely began to like shift my mind and shift my spirits, and how, I feel just moving them, they became aware that like, all right, this dude is like back on his stuff, and he's like, whatever, getting back on. It's not that I fell off of my stuff at all, and it's not that I feel like my spirits were like felt any specific type of way about it. The ngangas do their thing at all points throughout every single day, from the moment that you receive them until the moment that you pass away. Your ngangas are with you, your spirits are with you, they will always be with you, always, always. So I didn't really feel any type of way about taking some time away from the terrero, because the terrero is spiritually very hot, and at that particular point I was doing a lot of stuff, and I still am, to cool my head and to bring some peace to my head and things. So I just wasn't in here as often. But something inside of me shifted, and I was like, all right, let's go back in there. I want to feed my spirits. It's been over a year, so let me go ahead and feed them. So we started with Pombagira, and we fed her. A common practice that you do with the ngangas in Quimbanda is when they are given an animal, you remove the wings and the feet and the head. The body gets placed before the nganga, and then the nganga gets dressed up with those particular elements from the sacrifice, the wings, the feet, and the head. When I put the head on Pombagira's ferramenta, on her trident, so funny, it was so creepy, it was so awesome. It was so awesome. I put it on the main spike of her trident, and the eyes and the mouth of the head, just the head, mind you, the head had already been, cut off by this point, completely like opened, and just like, like I was like, ah! Like it like just took me up like by surprise. With Eshu, a very similar thing happened, And I definitely, as I was singing their puntos, which are their sacred songs, as I was doing my things, as the Ngangas were being fed, I definitely started to feel very moved, very hot, very spiritually triggered. Like I felt my spirits were very close to me. I could feel them like on my shoulders, sitting like on me, like hovering above my back. That is a very what is the word? What am I trying to say? That is a very specific characteristic of the Ngangas. I completely lost my train of thought. Hold on. Let me try and get it back. Sorry, guys. So that is a very typical characteristic of possession when someone is beginning to go into a trance state with the spirits of Quimbanda. You can feel the spirits on the neck, on the nape of the neck specifically. That is the site that is a sacred point to the Quimbadero, is the neck. So I definitely began feeling my spirits like working through me, beginning to like come through. Now I was not fully mounted when I fed them. However, I definitely was about a hop, skip, and a jump away from, you know, my spirit like fully like being incorporated at that moment. So that was like very, very exciting for me. At the time, it wasn't exciting. I mean, it was exciting at the time. It was just like the feeling is very intense. The feeling is very hot. You will like begin like sweating, perspiring like ferociously in my case, which has always been the case pretty much. And that's exactly what happened. I started to get very heated spiritually, and I really started to get going. So once the Ngangas were completely fed and I went to sleep that night, I definitely had some very interesting dreams, and I've had some very interesting dreams since they have been fed. And in addition to that, many, many things I feel for myself personally has reawakened in myself. Like I said, I had taken a little bit of time off from my spirits, from working them. What I would do is come in and light their candles and say prayers to them and things of that nature. So I kept it very like calm, very simple. Once my spirits were fed, I definitely feel like they have an additional oomph to them. They definitely have reawakened connections inside of me, avenues of communication with me. I have definitely, from that moment, have had many, many, many conversations at the Nganga and just with my spirits throughout my day on many, many, many topics. One of them, the main thing that really has like come from my spirits being fed, is that I want to now consecrate Maria Mulambo and seat her power and seat her in the terreiro and seat her place in the terreiro and begin using her and working with her and incorporating her and things of that nature. Since the beginning, I've always felt more of the relationship with Maria Mulambo, like herself as a spirit, she's just very different from my personal Pombagira and the energy of my Pombagira. And so I'm definitely like looking forward to working with her and incorporating her and having her presence in the terreiro. That is going to be awesome. So that's definitely come to my mind. This macumba for protection, to ward against witchcraft has come. Like that just came to me as a vision. And then from that, I began putting things together and figuring out how I was going to work them. I, as a quimbadero, feel like I have an oomph. When I fed my spirits, like, you know, I was like at some points getting like overwhelmed at work, and like I was getting overwhelmed by this and like, you know, whatever have you. And I very much so feel refortified, like in myself, recentered in myself as a quimbadero, recentered within the crossroads of Eshu and Pombagira. So it was an amazing experience, and I wanted to make this video and just kind of like talk about, now that it's been a few weeks since they've been fed, talk about how their spiritual energy has changed a little bit. It's definitely gotten more intense. I definitely see more things with my spirits. I definitely want to do more things with my spirits. I have that fire once more for like my stuff and doing my stuff and like getting back on top of my spiritual practices. Like, people, let me explain something to you if this is not already apparent. When you get involved into these traditions, they can consume a lot of your time. They can consume a lot of your attention. And so sometimes it's just beneficial for you to take like a little pause, a little intermediary, like step away from your spirits. And then, you know, you just go back to it. You just go back to it. At no point do I feel my spirits felt any particular type of way about it, because I did not go into it in a way that was like, oh, I am intentionally leaving you in like the dark. I'm like intentionally, you know, not being on top of you more, whatever. There was no ill intent behind it. It's simply speaking, Quimbanda is a very hot tradition, very similar to Palo Mayombe. The currents, the spiritual currents of the Ngangas in Quimbanda are very hot. They're very bombastic. They're very all over the place at times. And so, as a person that definitely thrives in that type of spiritual practice, which I feel like is apparent because I've now been initiated into 2 very hot spiritual practices, I definitely enjoy that type of spiritual work. So, but again, we're all human beings, and we all, you know, things come up, and sometimes you just have to take a break. So I did, and I feel feeding my spirits and really sharing that moment with them, and really offering them specifically like life, blood, was very, very powerful. And I felt very powerful in that moment, as life itself was being transmuted into from physical form into spiritual sustenance for the Ngangas. I definitely cleaned myself with the animals, and I cleaned my partner and one other person that was there helping me and participating in a good friend of mine that will be initiated into Quimbanda when she is ready, when she gets her stuff together, which we're both very excited about. So she was here helping. And so, yeah, with all of that being said, I just feel that the spiritual energy in the terreiro, the spiritual connection and tie that I have to my spirits has definitely been reawakened. It's been opened back up. Those channels have been completely like opened, and now again I feel this dramatic like presence from Eshu and Pombagira, and this dramatic incorporation of them into my body and into my psyche and into my mind, as my connection with them deepens. From that feeding, many things have like come from that. And what I mean by that is different spiritual work, different ideas, different things that I want to do with my spirits, just many, many, many things. I really don't know how else to articulate, I guess, like what I'm trying to say that I've been repeating, and that's just that feeding them, you know, giving them their offerings, their alcohol, their pade, blood, and the gift of a sacrificial animal is very, very sacred. And it's very, very important. And it can reconnect you to those deeper places of yourself to where the spirits operate. So that's pretty much all that I have for you guys. This video is already long, and to be honest, I don't know that I said anything particularly like poignant or like mind-blowing or mind-opening, but I did want to make this video because I feel that the spiritual energy has changed within me, with my Ngangas and everything. And so I feel like that was a direct cause and effect relationship to them being fed. So that's really all I wanted to talk about. Many, many blessings, everyone. I hope you are having a fantastic Monday. I hope that life is just beautiful wherever you are. I hope you're just filled with beauty and love and peace. So that is all that I have for you for this Quimbanda Talks video. Again, this is just a follow-up, I guess, if you will, of my spiritual feelings from my Ngangas after they have been fed by my hands for the first time. So many, many, many blessings. I hope that this message finds you well wherever you are. May Eshu and Pumbajira lift you. May they fill you with passion. May they fill you with strength. May they protect and guide you. All of you people out there who are interested in Quimbanda, or maybe you're already a Quimbadero, I hope that you always, always, always appreciate the gift of your spirits, because that is a gift that only they can give you. That is a gift that is facilitated by the hands of a human being, but that carries many, many, many spiritual repercussions. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful being a Quimbadero. It's such an interesting path. It is such an interesting spiritual practice. Again, if you guys have any questions, please drop me a comment down. And until next time, take care of yourself.